Welcome to Building Logical Organizational Structures. Let's learn how to organize your SAP BTP environment effectively. This means setting up your cloud landscape with clear, logical groupings for your applications and data, ensuring everything is manageable and secure. For instance, you could create separate spaces for development, testing, and production. Proper organization is key to maintaining a robust and scalable cloud platform. Good structure saves time and reduces confusion as you grow. This means organizing your systems clearly from the start prevents problems later. For example, setting up separate development and production areas ensures new code doesn't accidentally disrupt your live business. A solid foundation makes future expansion much smoother. We'll use real-world examples you can apply immediately. This means you learn with practical scenarios that mirror your daily work. For instance, setting up separate development and production environments for an application team. This direct approach ensures you can confidently use these skills right after the training. By the end, you'll design structures for different business needs. This means you can create tailored organizational models to solve specific company challenges. For example, you might set up a global sales division separate from local support teams to streamline operations. Mastering this skill ensures your solutions are both efficient and scalable. Understanding subaccounts in SAP Business Technology Platform. Subaccounts are like separate workspaces in SAP BTP. They act as isolated environments where different teams can work independently on their projects without interfering with each other. For example, a development team and a testing team can each have their own subaccount to build and validate applications separately. This structure ensures organized and secure project management. Each subaccount can have different settings and resources. This means you can customize security levels, enable specific services, and allocate memory separately for each one. For instance, one subaccount could run development tools while another handles production securely. This flexibility allows you to manage distinct environments tailored to their unique purposes. They help you organize by team, project, or environment. This means you can group your development work logically. For instance, create separate subaccounts for your development, testing, and production phases. This structure keeps your resources and access neatly separated and managed for each specific purpose. Think of them as different rooms in your digital office. Each subaccount is a separate space for specific projects, keeping resources and configurations isolated. For instance, one subaccount for your HR app and another for finance, so they don't interfere. This separation ensures each project runs smoothly and securely on its own. Common organizational patterns for enterprise architecture. Environment-based development, testing, production. This means using separate, isolated environments for each stage of your application's lifecycle. For instance, developers build a new feature in the development environment, quality checks are performed in testing, and the final, stable version runs in production for end users. This separation ensures stability and controlled progression of changes. Team-based finance team, HR team, IT team. This means organizing your BTP account by creating separate sub-accounts or directories for each business unit. For example, the finance team has its own development space to build applications for budgeting. This structure ensures each team works independently with their own resources. Project-based, Project A, Project B, Project C. This means each project operates independently with its own resources and goals. For example, a company runs Project A for sales automation, Project B for HR onboarding, and Project C for inventory tracking, each as a separate initiative. This approach ensures clear focus and accountability for each distinct business effort. You can mix and match these patterns as needed. This means you can combine different organizational approaches to best fit your project's requirements. For example, a company might use a central platform team for foundational services while allowing individual development teams to manage their own applications. This flexible approach ensures your BTE setup evolves with your business needs. The importance of effective naming conventions. Clear names help everyone understand the purpose. This means using descriptive names so team members can instantly grasp what each component does without confusion. For example, name a service Employee Payroll Service instead of Service 01. This clarity accelerates development and reduces errors, making collaboration smoother and more efficient for everyone involved. Saves time when searching for the right sub-account. This means you can quickly locate the exact environment you need without confusion. For instance, instead of subaccount_1, naming it as Production HR App tells you its purpose and location immediately. Efficient naming streamlines your daily work and reduces errors. Makes onboarding new team members easier. Clear names act like a map, so newcomers quickly grasp what each component does without constant help. For example, calling a service customer data_retrieval instead of service_01 tells them its purpose instantly. This clarity accelerates their integration and productivity from day one. Helps prevent mistakes and confusion. Clear names make it obvious what each component does, so you use the right one. For example, naming a service prod_payment_service instead of service_01 prevents accidentally using production data in testing. This simple practice keeps your projects running smoothly and error-free. Simple naming convention strategy. Start with environment, dev, test, prod. This means your first identifier in any name should be the deployment environment. For example, name a development account dev US ERP 001. This immediately clarifies the instance's purpose and stage, preventing costly misconfigurations. Always prefix with the environment to maintain clarity and safety across your landscape. Add team or project name, finance, HR, project X. This means including a clear identifier for the group using the resource. For example, a development space could be named Dev Finance Users. This instantly clarifies the resource's purpose and ownership, making your landscape much easier to navigate and manage. Keep it short but descriptive. This means names should be brief enough to be practical but still clearly indicate the resource's purpose. For example, name a development space DevSAP instead of a long, unclear name. This approach makes your environment easier to manage and understand for everyone. Be consistent across all your sub-accounts. This means using the same naming rules everywhere to avoid confusion. For example, name all development sub-accounts starting with Dev, like DevUcore. This uniformity makes it easy to identify and manage your environments efficiently, saving time and reducing errors. Environment-based structure for SAP BTP solutions. Development, where you build and test new things. This is your creative workspace to construct and validate new applications or extensions before they go live. For example, you might develop a custom employee onboarding app here, testing it thoroughly with sample data. This environment ensures your innovations are stable and reliable before deployment. Testing, where you verify everything works correctly. This means checking that all your SAP BTP applications and services function as expected before going live. For instance, after building a sales reporting app, you'd test it to ensure it accurately calculates and displays data. This step is essential to prevent issues and ensure a smooth, reliable launch. Production, where your real users access the system. This is the live environment where all final, tested applications run for your customers or employees. For example, a company's online store where customers actually place orders. This environment must be highly reliable and secure for daily business operations. This keeps your work organized and safe. It means using separate environments for development, testing, and production prevents accidental changes to your live system. For example, developers build new features in a development environment, not the live one used by customers. This structure protects your operational business processes from disruption. Team-based organization. Each team gets their own sub-account. This means teams work independently in secure, dedicated spaces on SAP BTP without affecting others. For example, the sales team can develop customer apps while HR builds employee tools separately. This structure ensures focused development and clear ownership for every project. Teams can work independently without interference. This means development squads can build, test, and deploy their own applications without affecting others. For example, the HR team can update their recruitment app while the finance team simultaneously works on a new reporting tool. This parallel development accelerates project timelines and boosts overall productivity. Easy to track which team uses which resources. This means you can clearly see which team is using which SAP BTP services, like databases or applications. For example, the finance team might use analytics tools while development uses integration suites. This clarity helps manage costs and access effectively, ensuring each team has what they need without overlap or confusion. Perfect for companies with multiple departments. This means each team can work independently with their own tools and resources. For instance, the finance and sales departments can each manage their own applications without interference. This structure ensures every department operates efficiently and securely within the organization. Planning for future growth with strategic foresight. Start simple, you can always add more later. Begin with basic functionality to solve immediate needs, avoiding complexity. For instance, launch a simple employee directory app first, then gradually integrate leave management features. This approach ensures early success and manageable scaling, building confidence as your solution evolves efficiently over time. Leave room for new teams or projects. This means designing your BTE setup to easily accommodate expansion without major rework. For example, allocate extra sub-accounts and entitlements upfront so a new sales team can be onboarded quickly next quarter. Planning this flexibility ensures your platform scales efficiently with business growth. Think about how your company might grow. This means anticipating future business expansion and ensuring your SAP BTP setup can handle increased users, data, or new locations without major rework. For example, a retailer expanding to 5 new countries needs a cloud platform that scales easily. Building this foresight into your plan prevents costly future disruptions. Good structure makes expansion easy. This means designing your SAP BTP setup so it can grow without needing a complete rebuild. For example, using separate accounts for development and production lets you add new features to the dev space without disrupting live operations. A solid initial framework prevents future bottlenecks. Case study: small company setup. Company, 3 teams, growing slowly. This means the business has 3 distinct departments and is expanding at a steady, manageable pace. For instance, a local bakery might have teams for baking, sales, and delivery, gradually adding new products and customers. This controlled growth allows for careful, scalable technology adoption on SAP BTP. Structure: dev, test, prod for each team. This means every team has separate, dedicated environments for development, testing, and production work. For example, a development team builds a new feature in dev, then tests it thoroughly in test before deploying the final version to the live prod system. This structured approach ensures organized, safe, and reliable software development and deployment. Naming: dev sales, test sales, prod sales. This is a clear naming convention for 3 separate environments. For instance, a developer builds a new feature in dev sales, validates it in test sales, and then the stable version runs in prod sales for customers. Consistent naming prevents confusion across the development lifecycle. Result: clear organization that's easy to manage. This means your SAP systems have logical structure with proper user access controls. For example, a retail company could separate finance, sales, and warehouse teams into distinct areas with appropriate permissions. This straightforward setup reduces complexity while maintaining security across your business operations. Case study: project-based company. Company works on multiple client projects. This means they manage several distinct initiatives for different customers simultaneously. For example, they might develop a mobile app for one client while implementing an analytics dashboard for another. This structure requires scalable and flexible cloud solutions to handle diverse project needs efficiently. Structure: each project gets its own set of environments. This means every project has its own separate development, testing, and production spaces, keeping them isolated. For instance, a bridge construction project would have dedicated environments, separate from a building project. This ensures changes in one project won't affect another, maintaining clear organization and stability across all your work. Naming Dev Client A, Test Client A, Prod Client A. This means using clear, consistent names for your development, testing, and production environments. For example, a company might use these names for their 3 separate systems to avoid confusion. This structured approach ensures everyone knows exactly which system they are working on for a given task. Result: projects stay separate and organized. This means each project has its own isolated space, preventing data and users from mixing. For example, a construction firm can manage building a hospital and a school in parallel without overlap. This clear separation ensures every project runs smoothly and efficiently on its own. Viewing sub-accounts in the SAP BTP cockpit. Log into SAP BTP cockpit. This means accessing the central web-based interface where you manage your BTP resources. For instance, a developer enters their credentials to securely reach their organization's cloud environment. This initial step is essential for performing any administrative or development tasks. Click on your global account. This is your organization's main container in BTP, housing all your sub-accounts and resources. For instance, if your company is Acme Corp, you'd first click the Acme Corp Global Account tile to enter and manage your environments. This initial step is essential for accessing and administering your cloud landscape. See all your sub-accounts listed. This means the BTP cockpit displays every sub-account you have access to in one place. For example, if you manage separate sub-accounts for development, testing, and production, you can view them all together on this screen. This centralized list makes it easy to manage your different environments efficiently. Each shows name, region, and status. This means every sub-account in the list displays its unique identifier, the geographic location it's hosted in, and whether it's active or not. For instance, AS production sub-account might be in the Europe, Frankfurt region with a ready status. This consistent view helps you quickly assess and manage your BTP resources. Key takeaways. Good structure makes BTP easier to use and manage. This means organizing your BTP account, sub-accounts, and spaces logically. For example, group development projects in one sub-account and production apps in another. This clear separation simplifies access control and monitoring. A well-organized setup reduces complexity and saves time. Use clear, consistent naming conventions. This means giving every resource a logical, predictable name. For example, name a development space, dev order process, and a production space, prod order process. This instantly clarifies each item's purpose and environment, reducing errors and saving time during development and operations. Adopting this practice ensures your projects remain organized and easy to manage as they grow. Choose patterns that match your business needs. This means selecting predefined SAP BTP solution approaches that directly address your specific operational challenges. For instance, If you need to integrate a new e-commerce system with your existing SAP setup, you would select an integration pattern designed for that purpose. This targeted selection ensures your solution is efficient and effective from the start. Plan for growth from the beginning. This means designing your solution to handle future expansion, not just current needs. For example, an e-commerce app should support increased holiday traffic without redesign. Building scalable architecture early prevents costly rework and ensures smooth business operations as demands evolve. Ready to design your structure? You now understand the basic organizational patterns. This means you know the standard ways to arrange accounts, directories, and subscriptions for your projects. For example, a company might use a separate global account for each major region. With this foundation, you can confidently start planning your own structure. You can create clear naming conventions. This means establishing consistent rules for naming your BTP resources, like services and applications. For example, prefix all development apps with dev_ so teams can instantly identify their purpose. This simple practice prevents confusion and streamlines collaboration across your projects. You know how to plan for future growth. This means designing your system to handle increased users and data without costly rework. For instance, an online store starts small but builds on BTP to seamlessly manage holiday sales spikes. This foresight ensures your initial investment continues to pay off as your business expands. Next, we'll learn how to actually create these in BTP. This means you'll use the BTP cockpit to build and configure the architecture components we've designed. For example, you could create a subscription service, add authentication, and connect it to your SAP S/4HANA system. This hands-on step transforms your theoretical structure into a live, functioning application in the cloud.